Welcome to episode 2 of our beginners series. If you missed episode 1, you can find a link in the description. I'm currently painting Windsor yellow around the sun, where I've lightly penciled in the round of the sun. And the materials are the Windsor yellow and then the Windsor yellow with a touch of alizarin crimson. And then we'll go into Windsor blue later. And I'm using Fabriano watercolor paper, 140-pound rough, the Winsor & Newton artist quality paints. And you can see a wide selection of my artworks at billholcomb.com, as we're just showing you now, and then we'll quickly go back to the video. For the brushes, I use Pro Arte and Utrecht brushes, and they are mainly the pointed brushes, but you'll see that I also use the flat brush quite a bit in this painting as we progress later. The drawing was done in very light pencil, something like a HB or a harder one than that. And at the moment, where I've laid in first the yellow wash and then the alizarin crimson, I then come into the Windsor blue. And then you add a little bit of the alizarin crimson to the Windsor blue to get darker still. And do remember that when these paints are laid down, the pigment looks really quite strong at first, but as it dries, it lightens a great deal. I am now using a malleable rubber, a razor, as they say in the States, to actually take away that pencil drawing, and then I've put some clear water where the sun is. Then the headland is painted in, and that is a combination of the Windsor blue and the alizarin crimson, very light because it's distant. Just using the number 4 Pro Arte brush there at the moment. So painting around the penciled areas of the ladies' heads. And notice that their heads are at the horizon level. That is the case in most of the paintings that you complete. There are exceptions because it depends upon what angle you are at. You know, whether you're above the subject, below the subject, etc. That will vary where the people's heads will be in relation to the horizon. So just slightly draw that in, and as we come up to the left, you'll see there's one area there where I'm leaving where the tree trunk comes in from one of the palm trees, because that will be painted in later. So we've been painting in the palm trees. I'm using a number 4 again here at the moment, but you could drop down to a even smaller brush for fine detail of the palms. So you paint in the trunks in a light colour, and then a mixture of the Windsor blue and the Windsor yellow to get the green for the palms. And think of the shapes that they make as I'm doing now. Then gone to a flat brush to lay in some grassy area where the sand is on the beach. So I lay in the green first, and then a little bit of the blue mixture comes in afterwards between the sandy areas for the shadows. Remember, you can dab with a tissue if you wish to lighten, take off a little bit of the pigment. Still a flat brush, laying in some dark areas on the wet sand. And then for the ocean flat brush, that mixture again of the Windsor blue and the alizarin crimson. So just painting around, avoiding the figures. Then gone into a much smaller brush, say a number 1, number 2, and a slightly darker mixture as well, laying in waves that are cresting and reaching the beach. Remember that you can put water on the brush, dab with a tissue and lighten where you wish to have foam from the ocean waves. Once again, quite a small brush for the figures. And occasionally I'll rest my hand on a clean sheet of tissue so that I don't smudge and maybe accidentally get paint on the palm of my hand and then transfer it to somewhere in the paper painting. So the lady here now is having to hold on her hat because the breeze is coming across from the ocean. And you'll notice that the lady to the right, her dress is blowing in the breeze. So it gives a little bit of action to the painting as well, if you can include details like that rather than just basic static figures. And notice the positioning of the legs to show that they really are walking along the beach rather than static. And here's that dress now blowing in the breeze. So this is quite a simple painting to do, and just showing you one of the brushes there. And then as the sand is still wet where the water's been crashing on the beach, we're laying in some reflection, mirroring the colours of the figures and their clothing. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this, and please do like and subscribe to see future videos. So until the next time, happy painting.